Bushwise Field Guides is an all-encompassing field guide course which gives any student huge experience. The idea is that they come with all-encompassing qualifications that they can hopefully get into a job.
The course that we offer is very, very comprehensive, and also we consult with the lodges themselves as to what they're looking for into their guides, and based on that we include that on our courses.
I love nature and I love working with people, so that's actually where my interest grew. I just want to do something or find a particular career in nature.
The students come to Bushwise, I think, not expecting the amount of knowledge they're going to get.
So our modules include things anywhere from geology of the area, climate, mammals, mammal calls, animal behavior.
We do advanced 4x4, we do presentation skills, we do rifle handling and shooting skills.
It's really nice that each week we got either one or a number of modules and then a test weekly, because then it did prepare us for the final Fugaza exam.
You know, you're continually learning. You're not just here in the classroom learning stuff. You're out and about in the bush.
And you're not just chasing after the big five, you're stopping in the trees and the flowers and all the little bugs and everything. So that was really awesome because I'm a visual learner and I have to see things to understand them.
I've learned a lot more than I thought I would be able to learn.
On the campus, we're trying to make it as comfortable as possible for the students, a home away from home.
Because it's not necessarily the easiest thing to come out as an international, but to have somewhere where you know that you'll be safe and with a lot of people that are doing the same thing with the same passion. I think for me that's what appealed me to it.
It's not you on your own struggling to understand something or remember something. Everyone is helping everyone.
We're family, we become a family, and with the trainers, what I love about them, they're open, you're free to ask any question whenever you want.
We're teaching them concepts and tips and tricks and knowledge that we've gained over years and years and years.
I have more belief in myself. That's the thing that motivated me the most.
Being a guide or working at research entities, a big element, if not the biggest element, is actually working with people.
It's exciting because you get to tell people what they don't know at all, and seeing the faces like so surprised, like wow.
And I think our main goal is to create teachers which will be able to go out and actually keep conservation going.
That's one of the reasons why we have Bushwise. We try to not only train them as guides with a piece of paper, but for them to go out, be ambassadors, and be responsible and set an example.
A lot of jobs require you to have work experience, and without that often you aren't able to get jobs, so we offer the 6-month placement which enables people to work in the industry to really get that foot in the door.
So they give you like a jump start into the industry.
I can't wait now, I can't wait. I'm not looking forward to leaving this place, but that's when the real stuff begins.
Getting excited just thinking about it.
Awesome. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. I think this is our third Bushwise Open Day of the year, so I'm super excited to be hosting this one. My name is Maria. I'm just going to share my screen. Awesome. So my name is Maria, and I'm the Outreach and Alumni Coordinator at Bushwise. Myself and the team are here today just to share a little bit more about what we are and who we are and what we do. Yeah, I'm super excited. So as you can see, we have a full lineup ahead. First, I'll be handing over to Darren, who will be talking about our fabulous program and all of our in-field courses. And then we'll have some time for questions after that. And then we will be playing a pre-recorded presentation by Annie, who is our Bushwise Communications lead. Unfortunately, she could not join us today, but she will be talking about her fascinating personal experience training and working in conservation in South Africa as an international. And after that, we'll be hearing from Lucas, who is a Bushwise alumnus, about their Bushwise experience and what it's like to be a Bushwise student. And then lastly, Trevor, who is the head of our Bushwise Online, will be talking to us about all the online courses that we are offering at Bushwise. And then finally, I will be back on your screens to wrap everything up. And we also have behind the scenes Kim, who is the head of the Bushwise admissions. They will be answering all of your questions live in the Q&A box. So if you do have any questions, please pop them down below. And then also we will try and read out any of the questions verbally if possible. Awesome. So I'm going to just also go over some housekeeping rules. So you will be receiving a link to the recording of this event via email on Monday morning. Please feel free to share it with anyone that you think is also passionate about wildlife and becoming a field guide. And we will also be answering your questions throughout the event. So pop them down below in the Q&A box. And then you will also receive all the relevant details after the event today about our special offer via email. So please keep a lookout on your inbox. Awesome. And I'm going to stop sharing now and hand over to Darren. I know that Darren is having some Wi-Fi issues, so if it does continue, then Kim will take over from him. Awesome. Darren, are you here? Okay, I think let's start off with Kim. We'll share her presentation, and then once Darren is up and running, and if he's able to speak, then we will definitely hear from him as well. Over to you, Kim.
Hi everyone, technical difficulties in the bush as per normal. So I'll be taking over from Darren. Sorry, my internet is also a bit wobbly, so hopefully you can all hear me. I'm going to be putting off my just so it can be a little bit more stable. And hopefully you can all hear me for quite a long time, being in the have a little bit of experience and hoping the course and preparing them for the industry. So I'll be talking to you about some of the programs that we are offering. And remember, if you have those questions, please keep them coming in. All right, next slide, please. Great, so we have an amazing team of people on the ground and in a background, our on-campus staff, our founders and our trainers. Our trainers have over 100 years of experience with guiding, and they all have the top qualifications, and some of them are mentors and assessors as well. So you'll be in good hands when it comes to doing any of our courses, and they are there to support you and mentor you all the way so that you can be very successful at the end of the course. So one of the things that we pride ourselves is that we are the most comprehensive course available. We like to be the most comprehensive course and be on top of what the lodges are looking for into their training, field guides, and what training they have and what skills they bring to the table. And based on that, we put these inclusions into our courses to make you the most employable entry-level guide at the end of the day. So that would in turn improve your employability. So I'm going to talk about our on-campus or in-field courses, which happen on our campuses at Bushwise. So we do run a professional field guiding course and a 60-day safari guiding course. Our professional field guiding course is 23 weeks or 50 weeks. The 50 weeks just includes a 6-month work placement, and the 60-day course is like a compressed version of that. I will be talking in detail about both courses now and show a little bit more about what is involved in each course and what students will be busy with on both of those courses. So like I said, this is our comprehensive version of a field guiding course. It is run on a Big 5 game reserve and includes all the theory as well as the practical training, as well as a few short courses during that period. At the end of the course, you will get your apprentice field guiding qualification and a whole bunch of other certificates, at least 5 nationally recognized certificates, as well as other certificates and in-house certificates. Anyone who is 18 years or older can do this course. In order to get your public driver's permit, you do need to be 21 though. The only restriction then in the working industry is that you will not be able to take paying guests on safari up until the time you are 21, but we do offer alternative placements for our under 21s, which I'll talk about a little bit later. So it is 23 weeks and there is an optional 6-month work placement, which comes highly recommended because this is the time that you can get a foot in the door, get some working experience and show the potential employers that you are an asset to their company. A lot of the placements can be looked at as a 6-month working interview. So the structure of our courses, we try and put a big emphasis on practical training. So it's about a 30% theory, 70% practical. The theory does happen in the beginning of the course, together with some practical, but we focus mainly on the theory in the beginning, leading up to the exam. Once that is out the way, then we do all the practical training, which is really the fun part, getting you out there in the bush. The placements after the course is 6 months long, mostly guiding placements. Then we do have under 21 placements, which I'll talk about a little bit later too. The lodges will take you on as kind of like an employee. Food and accommodation is included for that period. And sometimes you will have the opportunity to earn some tips if you are working with guests. So a lot of people say, why should you do our course? Because there are so many training providers out there. Here are just some of the reasons why we think you should be doing our courses. Because we are so comprehensive and we include so much, we feel like we have the best value for money. Up to 8 certificates, 5 of those are nationally recognized. We also include a free 12-week online course to all the students that sign up for this course, which really is an advantage for all of those students because it gives them great foundational knowledge, an opportunity to see what modules would be covered on the course. You'll get a bit of a head start and it will definitely help with time management during the course. You can also focus on some of the subjects that were slightly more difficult on campus together with the practical training and the support of the trainers. When we were able to get the results from all different training providers, we did have the highest pass marks for 6 years in a row with an 88% pass rate average, which is pretty remarkable. And then Darren really said something that struck a chord with me the other day. He said that Bushwise is, beyond field guide training. We don't just do the minimum requirements of the FAGASA Apprentice Field Guide. We go way more in depth up to NQF level 4, as well as the intricacies of how to work with guests from a hospitality point of view, dealing with difficult guests, making people have the most amazing experience, and then giving you those extra tools and skills to work with when you are a field guide. This will give you a massive advantage entering the guiding industry. And of course, we have a great reputation because of that and our high success rates of our South African students between 21 and 39. We also have had some of our students work in the most amazing lodges throughout South Africa and in Africa. And those include places like Mala, to name a few. We also help finding placements. In fact, we assist afterwards by giving them various platforms to have access to as part of our alumni program. So our next start date is the 8th of July. We are nearly fully booked for that course. And then we do have one in January next year on the 7th. We already spoke about the duration and the brief overview of that. And then for South Africans that join our course between 21 and 39 who join the 50-week course, there is a employment guarantee and a 50% money back guarantee. Basically, if you do not get a job offer within 6 months after finishing our 50-week course, we'll give you 50% of your money back. This is something that can give people a bit of reassurance when investing all this time and money into a career, that there is an actual guarantee attached to that. If you do everything that you need to do on the 50-week course, there should be no reason why you won't get a job offer after doing it with us. All right, this is quite exciting because we have just launched our 60-day Safari Guide course this year. In fact, our first course is taking place right now. And we realized that there was a demand for this course because of COVID and the implications that having got retrenched, losing businesses, a little bit more scared to commit to long-term commitments. So this is a condensed version, shorter period, better for budget purposes, but at the end of the day, you still get your apprentice field guiding qualification, as well as a few of the other shorter courses, what we could fit in and what we thought was quite important. Things like track and sign qualification, your first aid qualification, reptile handling. We also do a sleep out. We also do a bit of basic hospitality and, of course, a bit of 4x4 driving because we try to put students behind the wheel as soon as possible. This is essentially for students that don't have the time or the budget. They might be just coming for an experience, but want a unique safari guiding experience where it's not just a safari, where you're actually learning quite a lot more than just a normal safari. And those that probably have lifestyle work commitments that they need to go back to. Also great for sabbaticals or gap year experiences as well. So the duration for the 60-day Safari Guide course is, of course, 60 days. The structure is also including theory and practical. On the first part of the course, we focus on the theory leading up to the exam. Then we focus on the practical assessment training leading up to your assessment. We also do a few bushwalks during this course, as well as sleep outs. We also include the 12-week online course onto this program as well, valued at a nice fee, so it's added value. There is no placements offered on this course. However, all of the students who do this course will also have the advantage of being in our alumni program and will be added to various platforms where opportunities, vacancies, and jobs are advertised. Like we said, it is a condensed safari guiding course for people that have less time at their disposal. Great. So our next course start date was the 10th of April. We currently have students on that date. Our next one is starting on the 8th of July and it's almost fully booked. And then we have another one starting on the 25th of September. In 2024, we have a start date in January, April, July, and September as well. It is on one of our campuses. Anyone who is 18 and older can join. And it includes the apprentice field guide qualification, a track and sign qualification, first aid, sleep outs, and a few other extras. On this course, there is an option to do extras after the 60-day course. This could include your Sasita rifle handling, trails guide theory, or your advanced rifle handling, or your trails guide practical. So talk to us if you are interested in the 60-day course with optional add-ons if your lifestyle doesn't allow you to do that all in one go like the 6-month course. So here is some of the modules that we'll cover with the theory. This is FAGAS's 18 modules, and it's all done on the online course as well as in classroom sessions. And then we combine the theory that is done in the classroom on practical game drives. So a lot of people are visual learners, and a lot of people that go into the side of the career, they are more practically inclined. So it really helps with being immersed in the bush to do the practical side of the training. So we cover things like ecology and birds and reptiles and historic human habitats, because a lot of people are interested in the history of South Africa, and all of those kind of details. To be able to pass the FAGASA exam, you have to pass the 75%. And then once you do your practical assessment, you also need to pass the 75%. So here's some of the exciting modules that we cover in a deeper sense. We go into quite detail with each of these modules. When you join the online course, there are live lectures that are recorded for you to access later. And of course, once you're on campus, we do these lectures again, but like I said, in more depth and together with the practical training. So the practical that we do on both of our courses is super important. You know, getting out in the bush from the get-go is so valuable. Students get to drive the vehicles from the very first week. Each of them gets ample time leading up to their practical assessment. The trainers help and guide and mentor each and every student. And then, so once their assessment is ready to be done, they are quite well prepared. Not only do students spend every day in the bush doing drives, but they're also on campus, immersed in the bush with game and wildlife all around them. So we are endorsed by FAGASA, that's the Field Guiding Association of South Africa. During our courses, students will complete the exam and practical. Then on the professional field guiding course, the Trails Guide Theory is included in that course. It is optional for the 60-day students, and the qualification is known as Apprentice Field Guide NCAF 2. In order to go up in levels as a field guide, you can only do so once you're working in the industry, logging certain hours in that qualification. Then when you are ready to move up in the levels and you've got all of those hours behind you, you would then sign up for the NCAF 4 exam. And then when you're ready, an assessor will come out to your place of work to assess you as an NCAF 4 guide. And that is the same process as a professional field guide qualification. It can take anywhere to 3 to 5 years to progress in the various levels, but it is an advantage to grow and improve yourself as you are guiding, because at the end of the day, you can be more qualified, earn a better salary, and move into more senior guiding positions, and eventually possibly head guide, assistant managers, and even lodge managers sometimes. These are in turn recognized by CAPCITA, the governing body for the nationally recognized qualification. So the shorter courses that are included in the professional field guiding and the 60-day safari guide course. So the below is mostly for the professional field guiding course. I did mention for the 60-day, we do include the first aid and track and sign. But in the professional field guiding course, we have added benefits of time. So we include a social media module that is all about how to improve yourself in the social media world as a field guide, and then also how the game lodge industry uses social media. We do a wildlife photography workshop, not only to help you improve your skills and understand how to take better photographs for your own social media or the lodges, the benefit of the lodges that you'll be working with, but also how to deal with guests that are specifically coming to South Africa to take wildlife photos. We do hospitality training in the context of field guiding. Remember, at the end of the day, this is tourism and hospitality. It is your job to host your guests and give them an unbelievable experience. And being able to do that and understand, you know, how hospitality works will just help with the experience of your guests and earn you some more tips as you go along as well. Then we include a basic reptile handling course as well, which is quite fascinating. It's super helpful because obviously there are quite a few reptiles in the bush, and knowing how to safely get them out of harm's way and to be handled safely away from the guests is important. And then remember, we are doing all of our game drives mostly on gravel roads, unstable, in Big 5 territory. So having good 4x4 driving skills and understanding basic vehicle maintenance and being able to change a tire is important. Sometimes you are driving in remote areas and can get into tricky situations. So keeping your guests safe is super, super important. Then some of the other added extras, which are also highly beneficial and very sought after when lodges are looking to hire you, is we do some astronomy with celestial events. One of our past students and trainers, Ben. Then we do this ASITA firearm training that is using firearms for business purposes. Once you have that, we also do your trails guide theory and then the advanced rifle handling. These two are needed if you do decide to go into trails guiding. Then we do track and sign, which is understanding and reading tracks and signs in the bush, as well as trailing. So trailing is actually being able to track and follow an animal and find it at the end of the track. And then we do further practical trails experiences with low-fell trails in order to gain more hours and encounters on foot for you to become an apprentice trails guide. So the advanced rifle handling is a great added benefit. It is really, really important to pass this if you want to become a trails guide. The good news is that we give these students lots of practice. We guide them through it. We do dry runs, and then we do live ammo practices. And this is so that you can safely handle a weapon in dangerous situations. Hopefully you don't ever have to do that, but it is important to keep your gear safe at all times. So we're going to talk a little bit about student life. Obviously, these students come out and have amazing experiences. Honestly, I know it sounds cheesy, but they do have life-changing moments and they experience things that are really unbelievable in the bush, very inspiring and motivating. No 2 days are the same. We really go out and see exciting things every single day. Sometimes students come on the course and they see a kill for the first time. So we try and schedule our days very similar to the working world of a field guide. So that would include an early morning brunch, a break in the afternoon and late afternoon. And then in the daytime and before and after game drives, you know, doing vehicle checks, preparing hot boxes, things like that. This is what you're going to have to do in the real life situation as a field guide. And then we give lectures based on the modules. And then we do tests and examinations throughout the course to prepare you toward your final exam. So like I said, this is a typical day. We do wake up quite early in the morning to go on a game drive or do a lecture. And we then serve brunch at 11 o'clock. Then there's some downtime where we encourage students to take the time to rest or study because it is long working days. And then late afternoon is another lecture or game drive. And then dinner is served from there. Sometimes in the daytime areas, there might be additional activities like sights and sounds, which is optional. Obviously, attending those will be for your benefit. The more you do, the better prepared you'll be for everything at the end of the day. So we're going to talk a little bit about our campuses. We have two amazing campuses. One is near the Southern African, well, it's on the Southern African Wildlife Campus, near the Auckland Gate. It is located within the Greater Kruger National Park. And so you're pretty much immersed in the bush from the get-go. It is a fenced campus, so you are generally quite safe within the fenced area. As you go out the gate, you are in Big 5 territory. But you do have the opportunity to see animals regularly along the fence line. And of course, because you are in tented accommodation, you get to hear all the sounds in the bush every single night, which is awesome. Then we have our Mishlasha campus. That's on the opposite side of Hoedspruit, near the Greater Makalali Game Reserve. Accommodation here is slightly different with thatched bungalows, but it is also within a small game reserve with game wandering around like sable and yala. We do have hyenas on site as well and leopards that are in the area. So that's quite exciting. And then we do all of our game drives on the Greater Makalali Private Game Reserve, which is also a Big 5 game reserve and also has cheetah, brown hyena, and wild dog coming in and out of the area. So on the professional field guiding course, students do get Saturdays off and Sundays off. So the morning is spent just recapping that week's Q&As, things like that. For the 60-day course, there is not much time off. There might be an afternoon here or there. It is pretty full on for those 60 days. So when you do get a bit of a downtime, we suggest you take that time to rest. So on the weekends that you get off as well, on a Saturday and Sunday, there's lots to see and do in and around Hoedspruit. So you're welcome to do a bit of sightseeing. And then here's some amazing, exciting pictures of our campuses and, you know, the environment that the students are in and the fun that they're having. Students make lifelong friends. They even meet their possible partners, and they really have an amazing experience that they share with each other. The relationships that are formed with our trainers as well and the staff on the ground are also pretty special. We keep in contact with all of our students once they have finished their courses. We've even attended students' weddings and been there for when their babies are born. So it is a pretty special relationship that we form with our students. We really do have students at heart, and their success is our success. So it makes us very happy to see that our people on the course really enjoy it and they have a successful career once they have done with Bushwise. All right, so why choose Bushwise? I've already spoken a little bit about certain reasons why you should do Bushwise. I think one of the most important things is the type of experience you'll have on our courses. And the people who are responsible for that are the trainers on the ground and the staff on the ground. They are really passionate about what they do. They are talented, they are qualified, and they have really made a difference in conservation in one way or another. We have a diverse group of trainers from all parts of the country where they've guided in all different provinces and sometimes abroad. And then we have, you know, the students gain that knowledge from the trainers. And the students also keep the trainers on their toes and keep them learning with their complicated questions. So the trainers are also always learning and inspiring the students, and in turn, the students inspire the trainers when they have this amazing experience with us on the ground. So I did see some questions in the Q&A. Maria, I hope you're okay with me answering them quickly now. So we've got one from Khardin. I hope I've pronounced your name correctly. If a student already has NQF2 certificate, can they join for the additional 27-week option for the 15-week course only? Unfortunately not. Once you've already got your qualification, there would be no reason for you to redo the course. If it is a placement that you're talking about, we only offer placements to our graduates. Perhaps you can email me privately, kim@bushwise.co.za, if you can elaborate on your question. Maybe I can assist you further. If you want any of the extras that I've spoken about over and above your NQF2 certificates, like the photography workshop or the track and sign or trailing qualification, we can certainly help with dates and costs. So let me know after the session by privately emailing me, and I can answer those for you. Then you ask the second question, does the student get paid during placement period? So the student does not get paid during a placement period. It is essentially an internship. Every now and again, there is a lodge that will give an allowance, but you do get food and accommodation during that time. And the only additional costs for the placement period is your personal costs. So traveling to and from your placement venue, your off time if you do choose to leave your placement during your off time, and of course your personal expenses like toiletries and things like that. And remember, if you are driving guests, you might have the option to earn some tips, and sometimes those can be quite substantial. So that's really cool. And then there's another question: what is the average age of your attendees? So because this is a career-driven course, most of our attendees are career starters or early career changers. So most of our students are in their 20s. We do get students right after school as well that are ready to start right away. People that do gap years after school, that want to go into wildlife careers, that find benefit in doing this course as well. Then post-COVID, we did see a lot of people reevaluating their careers and deciding that what they've been doing has not been making them very happy. So we do sometimes get people in their 30s, 40s, and 50s that are late career changers. So yeah, that's really the most common age is roughly there. But we have a nice diverse group of students. We try and have a nice diverse group of students on each campus, ranging from different backgrounds, genders, ages, all of that. So you get to know people from all walks of life. Okay, what are your experiences with finding internships for students that are not South African? Stephanie. So placements are guaranteed for all students if you are between 21 and 39, regardless of where you are from in the world. The reason why we are able to find placements for all of our students between 21 and 39 is because as an international student, you will come on a study visa for the whole 50-week duration. And part of that includes the 6-month work placement. We are also the only training provider in South Africa that assists our international students with obtaining their South African driver's license and in turn getting their public driver's permits. And this allows them to be able to legally guide during their placements. So super, super important. All right, Savannah. If we already have handgun, rifle, and shotgun for business and purpose certificates, do you give discount on a course if we don't do that? 100% yes. If you have those qualifications already and you have proof that you've got your CC rifle handling, we'll definitely give you a discount. So Savannah, please pop me an email and let me know, and I will let you know what that discount will be. Hadeen, does the placement period count towards your guiding days criteria for NQ4? Unfortunately not. You have to first do your NQ4 theory exam before you can start logging hours as an NQ4 guide. However, because we teach to the theory level of NQ4, it's going to make you more knowledgeable as an entry-level guide, more employable, and you will impress potential employees during your placement because they'll see that your knowledge is above the NQF2 criteria. All right, we got a question here from Anonymous. Do international students had much success in getting jobs after the course, and do they also receive placements? So I already answered the questions regarding placements. Placements are guaranteed for all students between 21 and 39 for South Africans and internationals. In terms of getting jobs, this is a super, super important question because obviously most internationals coming on the course do want some sense of idea of what their success could be. So the visa regulations in South Africa have changed over the years and they are getting more and more strict. And it has been a little bit more difficult for internationals to get work visas in South Africa. So we always encourage our internationals to have a plan B, a plan C, and a plan D. So in terms of our success, I would say we've got about a 20% success rate with our internationals getting job offers within South Africa. And this was due to various factors. They either had accompanying qualifications, they had accompanying skills, they had really good working backgrounds that complemented their field guiding careers, or they had additional, strengths, so maybe additional languages and things like that, that made them more employable. At the end of the day, they cannot be seen to displace a South African. But if a company can prove that there is no South African that fits the criteria for them to employ them, they can motivate why they're wanting to employ that international student. So because of that, some of our international students have been successful. We have a few working in South Africa at the moment. from Netherlands and France and Italy. And then plan B would be to look at other countries in Africa. We have placements in Namibia. We've had international students work in Mozambique and Botswana even, as far north as Kenya and Tanzania. Plan C would be looking at international opportunities. There's guiding jobs in Australia, Patagonia, Sri Lanka. We might have opportunities for our students in Madagascar. And then plan D, we have had students who have gone back to their home countries and reached out to companies that offer outbound tours in Africa and offered their services as private guides. And then we've even had students that have opened their own safari companies, marketed to people in their country and privately accompany them to those countries. Okay, Liana, can you choose a campus or does Bushwise assign students to the campuses? So great question again, Liana. So the international students will automatically go to the Southern African Wildlife College. This is because it is a registered venue for the Department of Higher Education, and the students from other countries come on a study visa. We do mix them with some South African students on that campus. Excuse me. But other than that, it is a random selection, and we try and base it on diversity. All right, excuse me. Sorry, I'm losing my voice again.
No worries, Kim. Actually, we can move over to the next presentation if you'd like to type in the answers. I'm loving all of these questions. They are amazing, super engaged audience. So please keep putting your questions in the Q&A box. And Darren, who's one of our lovely trainers, has been answering them as well. And then Kim can also just type in some questions in the Q&A box too. Not questions, sorry, answers. She'll type in some answers. Awesome. So next up, we have the pre-recorded presentation by Annie. Annie couldn't join us today, but we are going to be hearing about her amazing journey in wildlife conservation as an international. So I'm just going to press play on the video and yeah.
Hey everyone, just to get started, I'm sorry that I'm not able to be there live today. Traveling this weekend, unfortunately, but I'm so happy to be able to do a little presentation for you and chat with you about my experience. Even though I'm not there now, I have given my my email address to the group on this presentation. Please reach out to me if you have any questions based on what I'm going to go over now. For those of you who are also from the States or from abroad, I'm very happy to help out with any questions, in particular around being an international student doing a FOGASA course. I work for Bushwise, but I have gone through the whole process myself as well, so I can definitely answer questions if you have anything around that in particular. I'm just going to go ahead and get started by sharing my screen and doing sharing a presentation with you. So let me just pull that up. Okay. All right, so that's starting off with a picture of me looking over at a couple of white rhinos here in South Africa. So my story is about coming from the United States to South Africa and getting involved in conservation as a career. I know that a lot of you that are on this call are interested in following a conservation career or a guiding career or working in ecotourism or something related. So this presentation is really about showing you that there are a lot of different avenues that you can take after doing a FOGASA course, whether you do a 6-month course or a 60-day course or a full year with Bushwise. There are a lot of different options that are going to be available to you. So as you can see on this slide, my email address is down at the bottom, and Amanda can also share this directly with anyone who's got any questions for me. So who am I? And how did I end up here? So that's a picture of me, as you can probably tell. And those are wild dogs in the background. And I've lived in South Africa now for about 8 years, a little over 8 years, originally from Texas. And right now I work for Bushwise as the communications lead. and am in the meantime also studying for a master's degree in resource conservation biology. But there's been quite a long process for me to get to where I am now. So I'm going to be telling you a little bit about that, and hopefully it'll connect to your story as well. So as many of us do at some point in our life, I thought my career was going to follow a normal trajectory. I was going to start off in an entry-level role related to conservation, or in my other life in policy and government, and then slowly move my way up the ladder, as it were. But as it goes, it didn't look anything like that. My career has taken me all different directions as I've figured out who I am, where I want to go, and what I want to be. A little bit like this adorable little wild dog puppy rolling down a hill. Sometimes feels like that. The basic premises, especially for those of us, I think, who are looking at conservation careers, there is no one size fits all. There's no one career path for everyone. So I'm 35 this year, and I've been working for about 20 years. Started young in the States. I was working at a bakery when I was just a kid. But moving all the way up, I've just had a lot of different jobs trying to figure out what I want to do. If you have a glance just at this list, there are things like whitewater kayak instructor, a lot of fun, university foundation fundraising officer, not as much fun, but also very important for career development. Freelance writer and editor, that's what I was doing for the first couple of years that I was here in South Africa. Zoo volunteer, a way for me to fill my time when I was desperate to spend time around wildlife living in Johannesburg. Small business owner, I have my own tour company. National Park kayak guide, we'll get into that. And then finally working for Bushwise at the end. But there's lots of different things in this. And when I look at the typical Bushwise crowd that comes through, we often have people who are graduating from high school or finishing college, and then they're looking to enter their career by going into a FAGASA course or doing something with Bushwise, and then going on from there, whether, like I said, it's in ecotourism or in conservation. But we also have a lot of people who come mid-career and are just changing the trajectory of their career, their job, the direction that they're going. And I absolutely love that we get that variety, because you also see this amazing relationships developing on the campuses between students of all different ages, all different backgrounds, all different career goals, all different study experiences, career experiences, maturity levels, interests, passions, existing knowledge about the bush. All of that stuff just blends into an amazing cohort of students on the different campuses. So people who have a crazy topsy-turvy sort of background like me, they find their niche and their fit in. And people who come directly out of school also find a way to fit in. You'll find that very quickly on a Bushwise course, on a FAGASA course, you meet people who are like-minded, who have the same sorts of passions and interests as you, even though you might have completely different backgrounds. Students on our courses become friends, and their friendships last their whole lives. So it's so much more than just making sure you fit into some kind of box as to who should be on this course, because really, if you're passionate about wildlife and interested in conservation, you belong on a course like this. So in 2019, this was pretty early, maybe I was halfway through the second column of that list of jobs, and 2019 hit. I'd been working in an office. I'd been doing policy work. I'd been using my first master's degree, which is in global policy studies, and I'd been doing research and writing on big policy subjects, security, nuclear policy, that kind of thing, very different. And I realized I just wasn't cut out for it. I wasn't cut out for sitting at an office doing normal desk work for long hours a day, because I didn't have the passion. I didn't feel inspired by it. And I realized being able to choose something you're inspired by is a luxury, but hopefully a luxury that we can all manage to have in our lives at some point. So I left the office and I found a FAGASA course. And I headed over to the bush, and I did essentially the same as what our 60-day course is here at Bushwise. I did a 55-day course because for me at the time, and some of you might have this experience as well, I couldn't really pull away for longer. I had a relationship, I had a situation in Johannesburg, you know, with my house and my life and everything that I needed to come back to. And I wasn't sure if I was going to go on to a career as a guide, but I wanted to experience what it was like. I wanted it for all of the different reasons people here might, for career development, for growth, personal growth, for interest in the bush, for exploring a pet passion, for, you know, bringing out that part of my soul that loves conservation and wanted to do that so badly. So I could afford all my resources, my time and everything. I could afford to go to a 55-day course. So I did that. I became a field guide. And I loved it, but it did so much more than just teach me about the bush. It opened my eyes to just some incredible things that I saw while I was on the course. That's me driving a game viewer in Olifants River Game Reserve. Just seeing things that I'd never seen before and getting to have some sort of ownership in the way that you lead people through the bush and transfer that knowledge. It was just an incredible thing to be able to do. That really opened my eyes. I made friends with people who I would never have dreamed of even meeting before. And I spent 60 days, you know, in a small space with them in tents and camping. I was on a relatively rustic course, but no matter what the setup was, it was just about immersing myself in 2 months of the bush and studying Fagasa modules and learning from my instructors and going to sleep every single night to the sound of hyenas laughing in the background, waking up in the morning to the dawn chorus of multitudes of birds. And of course, it opened up doors. I shouldn't say of course, but ideally and luckily, it did open up doors. And it helped launch my career in conservation. Before that, I dabbled in conservation. And at this point, I was able to actually have something on my CV and experience that gave me the push that I needed to actually enter that industry. My very first job after doing the Fagasa program was Wildlife and Trade Program Manager for the Endangered Wildlife Trust. And I think the moral of that whole story for me was that I just kept saying yes to the opportunities that were coming to me, even if they were slightly different than what I had planned, because it was opening up doors as I went. But shit happens. So I went back to the United States and during COVID, and I became a kayak guide. This is a little video from one of my tours. And this was up in Maine in the States. And again, I had to say yes to different opportunities because the world threw a bit of a curveball at me. I left the bush in South Africa. I went back to the United States and I actually became a kayak guide, which tour guiding is one of the avenues that you can take after doing a Fagasa course, because becoming a field guide involves learning how to plan a guided experience in a natural environment and doing it in an educated, knowledgeable way and being able to transfer that information to your guests in a way that's informative and interesting and engaging, right? So I captured those skills, took them back to the States with me and worked as a state kayak guide. Also a very intensive training program to become a Maine state kayak guide because there are coastal tides and there's a lot of possible dangers around kayaking in the ocean with dramatic tides. But honestly, a lot of what I learned when I was doing my field guide course helped me through that whole process. So it was just a great way to navigate a possible, slip up that turned into a really great opportunity thanks to COVID-19. But I came back. To South Africa. There's no way I was going to stay away. When COVID calmed down, I was able to come back to Johannesburg at first and then make my way over to Hoedspruit. One of the things I've always really enjoyed doing is taking photos. So wildlife photos like these and playing with colors and having a little bit of fun was something that drove me as well. And it's something that when you're on a Fagasa, when you're on a Bushwise course, we do encourage photography, we encourage social media, sharing your experience, and there are programs throughout the course where we help and work with you to understand little tips and tricks and ways to improve that. But I decided to add on a little bit more. I have one master's degree, like I mentioned, in policy, and I thought, why the heck not? Let me add a second one. So I'm still working on that. It's a never-ending process, lifelong academic. But I decided to start studying wild dogs. Through my connections with the Endangered Wildlife Trust, I do research on wild dogs around the Hoedspruit area. And actually on both of the Bushwise campuses, we often see wild dogs. Well, one of them in particular more, but there are wild dogs in the area at both of the Bushwise campuses. which is just incredible because in South Africa, there's only maybe 650 wild dogs left. So the thing that I really took out of my FAGASA course and the following opportunities that have come up, including working for Bushwise, is that becoming a field guide is about just constantly learning. If you think of nature and the wild and the bush as being your classroom and being your teachers, facilitated by the amazing trainers that Bushwise has, you will always see and learn something new. So even in studying wild dogs and trying to develop a dissertation and hone in on a research project where scientists are looking to answer questions, really at the end of the day, animals always surprise us and always do something new. It's one thing that I love about Bushwise so much, because when our trainers work with students, they talk about storytelling, they talk about interpreting animal behavior, they talk about taking the knowledge that you gain from the books and everything that you learn about the way things are in our world, the way the ecosystems work, the way the abiotic and biotic elements of an environment interact with one another to make it work, and observing the way things actually happen every single day that you're out in the bush, every game drive you go on, and how things will always change and animals will always surprise us and do something different. It's just an incredible thing to take away, because Bushwise really looks to create guides that create a more holistic, interpretive, immersive experience for their guests, as opposed to regurgitating information and guiding in a way that doesn't engage the guests. And that's something I think is incredibly important. And if that's something you're passionate about and you're interested in, then Bushwise is definitely the right way to go. But what does this have to do with you is the end of the question, or the end of the presentation really, is that growth looks like different things to everyone. So you might be 18 years old, graduating, or matriculating, and this is the next step in your career. This is the first step, I should say, in your career, because you really want to become a field guide. You've heard about it, you've grown up around the bush, your family's gone to Kruger National Park ever since you were a kid, you have spent a lot of time on farms, game farms, you know wildlife, or you want to learn more about wildlife. Or you could be 35 years old and the career that you've been in hasn't been satisfying, or you've decided now it's time for a really good sabbatical or a gap in your career. And this is just a stepping away completely from that version of your life into something new. Or you could be in your 50s, and this could be, maybe you're in a semi-retirement stage and you've decided, let me just go and try something totally new. We've had people who do that as well, and it's amazing. Or you could be an international student at a different age who's just graduating from college and heard that you could become a safari guide, because to be honest, for most of us in the States, that's like the most foreign idea possible, but it's real and it's very possible. And we have a lot of international students. Most of the campuses, or sorry, most of the student body as a whole is about 60% South African, 40% international, but that also shifts every year. So really you could be coming from anything and everything. And if I didn't touch on your specific situation, I'm sorry, but there are so many different options, really. And the thing is, we have people coming from all different backgrounds. So your growth can look like whatever you want your growth to look like. But at the end of the day, by choosing to do a FAGASA course, choosing to join a Bushwise course, you're making a really good decision, because it's going to improve your CV. It's going to give you skills that can be transferred to any other opportunity. It's going to immerse you in the bush for either 2 months, 6 months, or a year. It's going to expose you to people of all backgrounds. It's going to give you opportunities to see things that most people only watch on a David Attenborough documentary. It's going to make you realize things about yourself. It's going to give you the opportunity for personal growth. It's going to connect you to new friends. It's going to build amazing new relationships. The only thing at the end of the day is to ask, do I have the resources? Do I have the time? Is this something that I can do? Is this something I want to do? If the answer to all of that is yes, then you should do it. And that gets back to you again. If you're here now on this call, it means you're ready to make a big change, which is just, I mean, obviously you have to do the research. You want to know that you're making the right decision. Bushwise is an amazing organization. I've worked for them for almost 2 years now. I am constantly blown away by the passion of the trainers, by the keen interest shown by management, by how invested every single person is on this team in the growth of each and every single one of the field guides. The placement opportunities that come up at the end, the career growth that you're going to see, it's just absolutely fantastic. So, I mean, you can read this a little bit for yourself, but no matter what career path you choose, this opportunity will really only make you a better, happier, stronger version of yourself. Might be a little bit biased, but that's it. So I'm writing questions, but really I'm not here to answer any because I'm unfortunately recording this video. So if you do have any questions, please email me. Again, you can see my email address down there at the bottom of the screen, annie.dupre@gviprograms.com. And I hope this was helpful to you. And I really appreciate you taking the time to join us on this Bushwise Virtual Open Day. Thanks so much. Back to you, Amanda.
Awesome. Every time I hear Annie's presentation, I'm just in awe of her journey in conservation, and yeah, it is so amazing just to hear her presentation. I think she presented in our March Bushwise Open Day, and like every time I hear it, I'm just amazed at how far that she's come with her conservation career. We are supposed to be hearing from our Bushwise alumnus, Lucas, but I think he's just running into some technical difficulties. So I'm just going to hand over to Trevor, who will be, oh no, Lucas is here. Sorry, Trevor.
I was getting all motivated to wow you guys. But if you don't mind, I'd like to go ahead and Lucas can stand by a couple of minutes. I'd really appreciate it. I've got fur babies that need feeding, and I've got an elderly stepfather who's celebrating his birthday. I would, if Lucas doesn't mind. Lucas?
Lucas?
Yeah, no worries.
Thank you, awesome. Lucas. You're the man. You're the man. Thanks, Maria.
Ooh, okay, I'll be handing over to Trevor, who's going to take us through our online courses. And yeah, Trevor, take it away.
I will certainly do so. Thank you. Thank you for the invite. Thank you for trusting me again with assisting on the Bushwise Virtual Open Day. A little bit about myself. I've been with the company for several years. I eventually left the company in the final post as general manager, and I am now kind of freelancing. I'm in semi-retirement, but I have over 18 years of experience, and they've kindly asked me to host the online platform, which I find is an excellent medium and a way to reach out to people that may potentially not be able to get out or take an extended period of time away from their work obligations right now. So there is another option, which I'm going to discuss with you folks now. So give me 2 ticks while I share my screen, and it's gone. All right, stand by, folks. I need to go find where I hid everything. All right, just stand by. Slight technical difficulties. I'll find it now. There we go. Man, oh man, even for an old chap like me, I can actually still do computer stuff. All right, I want to go to my slideshow. Start with the beginning. All right, and I just want to make sure, can everybody see this or not? Maria, if you can just give me a thumbs up on your screen.
We can't see it yet, Trevor.
All right, stand by, please, folks. I shall return post haste.
Awesome.
Sorry, folks. Remember, I'm 58 degrees in the shade here, you know what I mean? All right, share screen. Yeah, there we go. All right, just by the way, that's not a joke. If you guys are coming out to this part of the world, it gets hot. It gets very hot. How's that, folks? Can you all see that?
Perfect.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good, let's get started. All righty. So, thank you very much to Kim, my co-host, and Darren and Lucas. Thank you very much for affording me the opportunity. I really appreciate it. As I said, I'm here to just take up a couple of minutes of your time. But apart from the lovely 23 and 50 week course, the long course, we obviously have the 60-day course, and this is where it actually ties in very nicely with the online course. Okay, so with no further ado, I'm going to move on. The online course is actually structured in such a way that you can do it in parts, depending on your financial status and also the time you have available to actually apply yourself. All right, I know most people, particularly those that have already left school or potentially just left university, do have work obligations or family obligations, and they can't do a full extended online course for 12 weeks. Okay, so you can actually kind of sign on for, for a separate section. But the basic nature enthusiast course lasts for 8 weeks. The introduction to field guiding course is 4 weeks, all right, and they run back to back, or you can have the entire 12 weeks combined into one to make up the entire online, what you want to call it, qualification. All right. Then I'm just quickly going to reintroduce Kim, who has probably been with the company as long as I have, so we can't kind of considered the furniture. All right, sorry, Kim, tongue in cheek. Still love you.
All good, Trev, all good.
And if the audience is not aware, you've got to understand that we're a big family at Bushwise. Okay, it's not just student at heart that we profess to look after, but we really, really, really are so happy to see progress through the years as people develop their career. And this is your stepping stone, okay? This is starting right now. If you choose to make this decision, well, you haven't made the wrong decision. Cool. And I'm going to try and stop using crutch words. Cool. Wow, man, I'm 58 years old. How can I use slang words? Never mind, leave it. Then I would like to introduce Tammy. She's going to be your student support throughout the 8, 4, or 12 week, however way you go. Apart from myself hosting most of the webinars where we discuss all the modules from 1 through to 17, starting with geology, everybody's favorite, and moving on to animals and animal behavior. All right, there I am. I'm looking a little bit fat and rotund, as you can see in my photo right now. Look at this, eh? Chiseled, you know, looking suntanned and everything. But yes, I take care of the online teaching theory part. All right, teaching theory part. If, however, you decide to come and do the practical, you will meet me in person, and you better be running or hit the ground running, because I'm not lazy and I love to share. Cool. With that I said I was going to stop with the crutch words. I'm going to stop with the crutch words. All right, I'd like to just add, this is some of the feedback we're getting on our various blogs, to reassure you folks that we're here and we mean business. All right, our business is skills development and ensuring that when you folks are let loose upon the general public and foreign tourists, that you guys can deliver the most amazing game drive experience. And at the same time, enhance, how can I say, your lifestyle and just generally your mental well-being. There is no better person than Mother Nature that will look after you and put things in perspective. Okay, but it's not a one-way street. Remember, you got to earn that. But the course is very interesting and it enhanced my basic knowledge of South African nature a lot. All right, and I'm not going to overdo it, but the teachers, i.e. the trainers, explain the material well, and the handbook is a clear overview of all learning material. Now, on this note, there's been a slight change with regards to how we deliver the theory content. We have now, in association with FUGASA, the Field Guides Association of South Africa, we have now created a link that takes you directly to the theory reading material, which is in the form of a digital copy, split up module by module, week by week, as opposed to just our presentations and one massive download of the manual. The manual is over 300 pages long, so you can imagine it's going to eat up a little bit of memory on your hard drive. Okay, and the beauty of it is you can actually, excuse me, you can actually access it for the rest of your life. Okay, so it's not just like a 2-week or a 3-week or an 8-week sort of portal. Okay, so with that being said, let's move on. I'm going to elaborate a little bit on the Nature Enthusiast, the 8-week course. All right, but the underlying or the common thread that goes through everything is it's been designed in such a way that you can do it at different times to suit, once again, your financial abilities, whether you have or haven't, home obligations, and generally just, you know, how can I say, making it very accessible. So we're completely flexible. Always just, you know, communicate. which is also the bottom line as far as guiding is concerned. Communication is key. All right. So basically, it's aimed at for anyone who loves nature, anyone who wants to learn more, self-enrichment, to improve knowledge in general, and it's actually targeted for those that don't necessarily want to make a career change, but want to learn more. They are hungry to know about our natural environment. And the subjects cover absolutely just about every aspect you can think of. All right. Not necessarily how to make coffee or how to iron and fold clothes, but definitely we'll be able to tell you how to identify a spider from a fly. Tongue-in-cheek humor again. I hope you don't mind, guys. All right. There's all the topics listed for you folks. But once again, it is focused on nature, biodiversity, and our role as humans sharing it. At the end of the day, the message we want to send out there is let's look after what we got, because pretty soon we're not going to have it anymore. And the only way we can do this is by educating young students, even middle-aged and older students, who have got lots of influence, by the way, who each one of them has got a circle of friends, let's say 10 or 15 friends, and they reach out to them and say, look, guys, I've just done this amazing online course. I've learned so much. Why don't you join me on the next one? And so on and so on and so on. So we start influencing people and how they actually perceive nature, if you wish. So I'm not looking for armchair critics. I'm trying to say, folks, I'm not infallible. Nobody's infallible. We're just trying to share our love and appreciation for the outdoors. So this would be targeted at the person who's not necessarily aiming to become a field guide. Okay. But you cannot become a field guide without completing the nature enthusiast part. All right, so don't think there's a shortcut for those of you that are already trying to figure it out. Okay, awesome. Now, another crutch word. My apologies, folks. I'll just try great. How's it? Good. Once again, all the qualifications are recognized by the Field Guides Association of Southern Africa. They are endorsed and obviously registered with CATCETA, which is the governing body where you get your certification from. And the nice thing is being registered with CATCETA, particularly from a South African point of view, for every level that you complete in terms of level 1, level 2, apprentice field guide, whatever you want to call it, all right, you earn credits. And those credits actually help you if you are planning to do a long-term, how can I say, degree or diploma within the wildlife industry. All right, it opens more doors, earns you credits like a normal university degree at the end of the day. All right, so never forget that. It's not just a piece of paper. All right. And then lastly, it's obviously recognized by the National Department of Tourism, which is a prerequisite in terms of guiding legally in Southern Africa. All right, particularly South Africa. There are certain things that you have to abide by in terms of rules, one of them being a public driving permit, but you know what, that's been covered, and there are ways and means to work around it if you are under the age of 21. Okay, it is self-paced, in other words, you work at your own pace. That is the whole beauty of the skills development program that CATCETA has endorsed, or actually, how can I say, enforces. All right, it's up to the learner to set his or her own pace to actually try and gather all the information, understand the concepts, etc. All right, so it's not like South African schools where you have 10 subjects in the day and it starts at 8, finishes at 9, then you move on to the next subject, starts at 9:01 and finishes at 10, blah, blah, blah. Or like any other school or university for that matter. It is self-paced. We encourage you guys to empower yourself with the assistance of the reading material and various assignments that we issue to get you to a point where you understand the work in your own time. But as trainers, whether online or on the ground, we are there 100% of the time to help you on that journey. Okay? So this is not a case of, okay, we're going to whip you until you make sure you got everything stored away in this little filing cabinet. Unlike myself, it's all gray matter right now. But to try and encourage self-improvement, okay? We don't want to teaspoon feed you. The moment we do that, nobody gives a damn. All right. There are video presentations with voiceovers to try and clarify certain to clarify certain concepts if you don't understand. And that's where I step in, or if I'm unavailable, any one of our trainers on the ground who actually then will host a webinar where we'll cover a certain module that's applicable for that week, but it is more of an open-ended question and answer. Let's clarify and let's try and extrapolate a little bit more on the reading material that you folks have got access to. Okay, so it's not just the theory and reading. Okay, there's a lot of interaction online, live all the time. Okay, and we are accessible via cell phone, by email, and any other means. You can send a smoke signal if you want, but I probably wouldn't be able to see it in Tanzania. What we do recommend is that you spend at least a minimum of 10 hours every week on that particular subject for the week, all right? Which includes a couple of practice quizzes, but it also terminates or ends at the end of the week with a submission of an assignment, which is how we determine where you are right now in terms of your level of understanding of the subject. And obviously, percentage-wise, will then allow you to graduate at the end of the course and receive recognition for all your efforts, i.e. a certificate. All right, simple as that. So you put in the effort, we'll reward you. That's how it works. All right, give and take, give and take. All right. I've basically covered everything there, but when you guys look at the recording, which is coming out on Monday, read through it as thoroughly and as diligently as you should. I'm kind of just trying to give you a picture of what you can expect. All right. So give me 10 hours a week and I will make you famous. I hope that works. Yes. Let's move on. All right. I've already spoken about the foundational knowledge as far as biodiversity is concerned, but your requirements are you need to have at least a reasonable understanding of English, okay? Particularly written and spoken English. We would prefer that you be 16 years or older, and you must have access to a laptop or other computer device and connection to the internet, okay? Everything is included in the price. Don't ask me what the price is. Please speak to Kim in marketing. She will give you guys either a payment package or some way to work around paying for the course and take it from there. All right, but it includes your association registration fees. It includes all your learning material, even though it's online. It's not hard copy. If you want a hard copy, because you intend coming to South Africa to do the practical 6-month component or the 60-day component, you will have to purchase them in addition. So you've got the digital copy, which you paid for in your course fees. However, if you were to download it and try and print it, it'll probably cost you more than just buying a hard copy directly from Vergasen. So let's just make that very clear. All right, good. And then, of course, a learner workbook where it's basically revision and a resource for you to help recap when you get to the end of either the 60-day course or the online course or the 6-month course when you actually write the theory exam, which gives you the Vergasen qualification. Okay. Awesome. The second part is the 4 weeks that I mentioned, which is attached onto the 8-week nature enthusiast, and it's pretty much compulsory if you're trying to follow a field guiding qualification so that you can enter into the guiding community. All right. But the 4 weeks is going to be dealing with things like guiding based modules, focused on preparing you for your role as a field guide, as opposed to nature enthusiast, where we're just talking about the theory component. Now, in this component, we're teaching you how to deliver that information. All right. Professionally, skillfully, and how can I say, with enthusiasm. All right. And also, obviously, it includes how to conduct a drive or a walking safari. All right. is no different to the nature enthusiast portion, apart from the fact that it would be compulsory if you are pursuing a career in the field guiding industry. But all the conditions are the same, all right? But this is an intense 4-week course in the sense that there's a lot of information, there's a lot of reading. So maybe a little bit more than 10 hours of devotion per week will help. Just a gentle hint, all right, from my experience. But I don't want to scare you folks away. I want you to actually be sitting there going, I want to know more, all right? I want to know more. When's the next week? When's the next webinar? Okay, sorry for my excitement, but I just love what I do. And I hope that it is to a certain extent infectious right now, all right, in a nice way. Infectious just sounds terrible, but I hope it's captivating. All righty. Once again, it's self-paced. We follow the manuals. The lessons are video presentations. Recommended 10 hours. I would say put in a little bit more extra effort and you'll see the rewards, okay? But what is important is we expect at least 50% participation on the online webinars every week, at the very least. I know there are restraints in terms of times. I know there's load shedding. I know there's various other complications, but we are flexible enough. By means of communication, you say to me, listen, I was halfway through the assignment and the power cut and I forgot to charge my laptop. Can I have another shot at the end of the week assignment? And then we go for it, okay? But if it becomes a pattern, we can say, but hold on a second. You failed the first attempt. Now you're trying the second attempt with a BS excuse. So please, let's just be honest to with ourselves. You want this qualification so that you are able to share this information properly. Okay. Excuse me. All right. Once again, the requirements are there. Please read through them very thoroughly so that there's no misunderstanding. But if there's something you don't understand, drop us a note on the Canvas platform. There is a conference room. We will ask you folks to come together and put up a little WhatsApp group, and we can chat to each other just like normal people. Okay, awesome. And then, of course, the Fugazi Field Guiding course is the entire full course. All right, that's the 8 weeks, Nature Enthusiast, combined with the 4 weeks, gives you the full 12 weeks, and it culminates with a physical Fugazi exam. All right, here I want to caution you, if you have no intention of coming out and doing a practical component of the course, then yes, go ahead, write the Fugazi online exam. All right? But I can tell you it's a lot more difficult than actually doing the written paper exam. Excuse me, because of time restraint. Okay? They're trying to prevent people cheating on the online exam because, believe it or not, people actually cheat. I can't believe it. Anyway, leave it. Don't worry. It's going to start a debate. But we've broken it up into the 2 components, once again, to accommodate for those that struggle with other commitments. All right? But this 8 and the 4 week run concurrently. So if you sign on, say, I'm doing the full 12 weeks. And then obviously you'll be registered as such. Okay. Another little bit of a blog feedback in terms of our successes. We are proud to say that we hold a very high percentage pass rate as compared to all our other competitors. And I attribute that purely to the fact that every single one of the staff members, including myself, even though I'm not physically employed full-time with Bushwise, we just have the passion. And I think the bottom line, the golden thread through everything is we love to teach and nurture. All right, so I'm hoping that will, how can I say, hook the fish, if you want to call it that way. It's probably a horrible analogy, but at the end of the day, we're trying to help and create awareness for the plight of nature in general, not only in South Africa, all over the world. Okay? Good stuff. I hope I've reached out to you guys. Okay, once again, I've just listed all of this for you folks to read through. All right, but gaining knowledge, all right, work and life commitments, or if you're not sure, perhaps you don't know if you want to be a guide, try this out and see what happens. Okay, you can't fail. You won't know unless you try. All right, so I'm offering a challenge. You won't know unless you try. And of course, financial constraints. That's everybody's bottom line. Okay. With that being said, have we got any questions?
That was awesome, Trevor. Thank you so much.
Only
I always
Trevor.
enjoy I always enjoy your presentations. Very
dear.
entertaining and
What about-
informative, of course.
Thank you. Well, I hope I haven't blown everyone away.
We did have one question that Kim has kindly also answered, but I would like to ask it verbally as well. The question was from Anushka. I hope I'm saying the name correctly. Apologies if I'm not. Can you still be in school and then also do the online course?
Yes, you can, providing you are 16 years of age and older. If you're not, you would need to contact FAGASA directly. They do have a junior FAGASA program. So I'm not sure, and please, you don't have to answer on the online platform, but if you're 16 years of age and older, you can do this qualification. If you are 15 years and 30 days, just 1 day short of 16, maybe just wait before you apply until you are 16 and then do it. But otherwise, there is a junior FAGASA program which you can apply for, and it covers more or less the same modules, but not at elementary scientific level. So by all means, have a look at their website if the age is a bit of a consequence. I hope that answers your question.
Awesome. We did not get any more questions about the online aspect, but if you do have any questions, I'm sure that they will reach out to you. If anything comes up after watching the recording, yeah, we'll definitely pass them on to you. Thank you so much, Trevor. I really appreciate your time today.
It's an absolute pleasure, and thank you so much. Thank you to the audience. I'm challenging you, folks. I'm waiting for you to come and see me out here in Africa. Good night, all.
Good night. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Awesome. So last but not least, we have Lucas, who is our Bushwise alumnus. I think today was his graduation before they go off to placement, which is quite exciting. So yes, we'll be sharing his presentation for him today. Lucas, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Awesome. And your presentation is live. Great. I'm going to hand over to you, and I'm very excited to hear all about your Bushwise experience.
Yeah, absolutely. So good afternoon, everybody. As Maria said, I'm a Bushwise student right now. I'm doing the 6-month course. And right now we're in our graduation. We have only 3 more days left, I think, in the course after everybody starts going to their placements. For my group, we're going to Lowville Trails. That is like an add-on course. It's optional, but it's a good experience to log some hours on trails. So I'll start with the presentation. So who am I? So I'm 19 years old. I come from Peru. For those who don't know where Peru is, it's a country in South America. So since I have memory, I've always loved being outdoors in the bush. For the first 8 years of my life, I lived in a house in the mountains in Peru. After those 8 years, I went to the big city but still tried to go to an outdoors place as much as possible. In Peru, we have the Amazon rainforest. It's very near to us. So I went there. I've been there a lot. So throughout the years, I've been gaining more love and passion for the bush until like in 2018, I came the first time to Africa. And after that, me and my parents just fell in love with Africa and kept going until I realized that I wanted to study here. I wanted to live here, at least for a short period of time. And in one of my trips to South Africa, in Sabi-Sense, I asked one of my guides, what would be a good place to go and study about wildlife and becoming a field guide. And he actually studied in Bushwise, and he really, really recommended it. And that's how I ended up coming here. I did some research about it. I loved the idea. and yeah, now I'm in the end of the course, and it's been amazing. Yep. So why I decided to do the Bushwise course, as I mentioned, I heard about it. I loved the idea. Uh, I decided it was the perfect start as well for my future of working with wildlife and field guiding. That's been my dream goal for a long time, and Bushwise offered it. Um, I've always had this plan of having a lodge or do private guiding. So I think it's the only place in the world, I guess, that can offer you something like this. And just the nature of being 6 months in the bush and dedicating all of this time to the bush, it's just an experience that cannot be achieved anywhere else. Yeah. So my Bushwise experience so far, it seems like yesterday when I first arrived here. I remember I was nervous. It was a long way from home. It's about a 14 or 16-hour flight. I didn't know when I was gonna be able to see my parents or my family again. But at the same time, it was exciting. Get out of your comfort zone, come to, how you say, like it feels just home to be in nature for me. And I'm pretty sure that for everybody who's applying to it, it also feels like that, and that's why you're applying to it. So far, I gotta be true with this. It's been tough. It takes a lot of patience. It takes a lot of hard work, especially studying for things like Fagasa, the Bushwise exams. It does take a lot of hard work, but it's your passion that you're studying. So it really is. It can be stressful, but it's at the same time you're loving what you're studying. You know, you're not regretting any decisions made. But you gotta come with a mentality that it's gonna be a full-on dedication every day of the week, dedicating to this, dedicating to the bush, learning about it, a lot of theory, a lot of practical stuff. Um, Waking up 4:30 a.m. and keep on going until 6 p.m. So it's quite a dedication, you know. But so far the experience is like nothing else anywhere. Like I said, there's so much knowledge and skills gained in just 6 months. Like the amount of knowledge that you gain. I had already some previous knowledge because I had traveled a lot to Africa, to different national parks and game reserves in Africa. But it was nothing compared to the amount that I've gained in this 6 last months. Like every day you're learning about something new, something that you had no idea about it, and you really become a professional in the course, you know, in the profession. So far I've enjoyed all the time spent here. The trainers are true mentors. They really are. They are people that you end up looking up to them, but at the same time they're your friends. You know, you can hang out with them, you can ask them any question. At the end you're going to be living with all of them for 6 months. Your mates, they become like your brothers and sisters. You spend so much time here that at the end it becomes like just a big family, and they're there to support you in any points. Yeah, something I would recommend is while studying for this exams to study groups. That's the thing that has worked the most for me. And also, if you work better studying alone, you can also do that. But any questions that you have, any doubts, any help that you need, you or like the trainers will help you at all times. They really want you to. They prepare you so well to fit into this industry. So the impact on Bushwise on me, on my career, it's been an amazing journey. It has made me mature so much and become a more hardworking and professional person. Like the amount of discipline that I've gained, the amount of knowledge is actually, it's funny, but I feel like Bushwise has showed me how to study because you're dedicated to it all this time. It's definitely give me big. I feel like I've become professional in the career, and there has been so many job opportunities that I have been coming to get because I studied in Bushwise. Like they prepare you so much into fitting into this industry. It's amazing. So Bushwise has opened so many opportunities for my career, which I have been achieved without studying here. And Bushwise has prepared us very well to fit into the guiding industry, just with the amount of discipline that that you gain. I think everybody in this course throughout the 6 months, they have been progressively maturing. Everybody has been improving. Yeah, definitely the first semester is gonna be hard, and you're gonna feel like it's a lot of work, that you're not that is not getting anywhere, or maybe that it's too stressful. But I'm telling you, it's worth it. You get used to it, and after that, it's just progression and progression and progression, and just getting better and better and better. Um, for me, the first semester of the course, it wasn't that good. I wasn't prepared for the amount of work that was here. But you just have to keep on pushing, and after that, you'll be so satisfied with the progress and with the results of putting this effort on something that you actually love. So my future goals and plans, already becoming a qualified field guide has opened so much opportunities to me. Bushwise offers you to do your placement. They have offered some very good placements to some of my mates here in the course, but I decided to do my own placement as I had some contacts. But I wouldn't have been able to do it without the help of Bushwise. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. If it wasn't for the preparation of Bushwise, I wouldn't have been able to achieve this dream that I had. So I did my own placement on a new lodge that's opening in Okavango Delta. It was my dream to go there and do placement there and study there, work there, for maybe a few months, a couple of years. And becoming a field guide with the help of Bushwise helped me to actually gain and obtain that dream. I've been offered also a job to private guide from a private guiding company from South America. Also, because thanks to Bushwise, I have all of these qualifications that I've gained, and they found very attractive because not many people do this. This is a new thing. It's not a common thing to come to the other side of the world, being a foreigner, and just decide to go to the other side of the world and study here in the middle of nowhere and studying something like field guiding and becoming a qualified field guide in this time. Yeah, so lots of job opportunities and good contacts that will pop out throughout the time that you're here. I would keep on doing probably private guiding in the early stages of the career, and I have the dream, as I said earlier, of owning a lodge at a later stage. I'm not sure if you're in Africa or also in South America and the Amazon, as it's my home. But yeah, it truly has been an awesome experience. I could not imagine myself anywhere else in the world right now or studying anything else. It's been amazing. It's been hard, and it's you need a lot of patience for it, but it's all worth it at the end. Like, I can tell you, because right now I'm already at the end of it, and the happiness and joy and how proud you feel about yourself about completing it just makes it up for all of it. And the amount of stuff and knowledge that you gain throughout the 6 months is just amazing. Just going out every day to the bush, the amount of things that you get to see and just learn about from what you're seeing is truly an amazing experience. And I feel like it's like a retirement from the city, from the casual life. It truly has been amazing. Yeah. Does anybody have any questions right now? If you don't have any questions right now, you're more than welcome to ask Maria for my number, and you can write me anytime soon.
Awesome. Thank you, Lucas.
Yep.
We actually had one question.
Absolutely.
Hardin, I hope I'm saying your name. Apologies again if it's incorrect. They would like to know how you managed to stay in contact with your family back in Peru.
Okay, so It has been tough because it's actually 7 hours of difference. So when I'm waking up, they're going to sleep, and when I'm in the middle of the day, they're just waking up. This reception area that I'm right now, the campus that I'm in is the Southern African Wildlife College. We have a reception area here which has Wi-Fi all the time. So at first, yeah, it was tough because you have to get used to those hours. But once you get used to it, it doesn't take much long. I would normally, as soon as I wake up, in my like free time of the day, we have a free time from lunchtime that is like at 11 p.m. until 3 p.m. And in that free time, I would normally communicate with them, write them a text, or call them as soon as they wake up. So yeah, at the first time it was hard, but then I got used to it. You know, you really get used to it. It's not that hard at the end. Yeah.
Awesome. And then much earlier today, during our open day, someone asked about accommodation. What does your accommodation look like, and which campus are you on?
So as I said, I'm in the Southern African Wildlife College campus. My group has been the largest group that Bushwise has ever had yet. We were 30 people. So we got one area that has tents. It's a lot of tents. I think there are new tents. The tent that I'm living in right now, it's 3-bed tent. So I have two roommates. We share a tent there. It has its own bathroom. The shower has cold and hot water. So we even have a desk. We have places to put our clothes there. So it's the necessary stuff that you need to live there. And it's actually cool because being in a tent gives you like the more real experience of being in the bush. You are almost next to the fence line. So after a fence line, it's only the Kruger National Park next to you. We would literally sometimes wake up in the middle of the night and hear lions roaring or hyenas whooping. We've also had some amazing encounters where we just like hear a big commotion outside and it's actually wild ducks killing an impala right next to the tent. Or we've also had lions just walking right past the fence line and we looking at them. So it's crazy and it's actually very good. But it depends on the course. Us being such a big group, we were sent to the tents, but I do know that other courses, smaller groups of people have been sent to an area called the Yellow Block. There are actually rooms, like cemented rooms, which have their own ventilator. They have even like a mini bar. I think it's only 2 persons sleeping on those. So yeah, it depends on how big the group is. Either they would send you to the tents or to the Yellow Block.
Cool. It sounds Is it quite scary when you hear the wildlife out there just outside your tent? I feel like I'd be a bit
I would say more than scary. It's not scary, it's an experience because you're actually getting to live the bush, but at the same time you're in a safe environment. You have it's an electrified fence, nothing can get through it. It's exciting. It gives you like the adrenaline and the feeling of being in the bush. So it's not scary, I would say. It's more of like getting the experiences. It's just amazing for me.
Makes sense. And then we just had one question come in from Crystal. They would like to know if there's a gym to get a daily workout in.
Yeah, there is a gym. I mean, it's not a fully equipped gym. There is a back machine. There's 2 back machines, 1 chest machine, and 1 leg machine. Don't expect a big gym. I did struggle with that as well. You can always try to bring some gym stuff here. You're allowed to. So that's actually what we did with my friends here. We ordered like a big pack of weights that we used. But yeah, like if you're very deeply into gym, don't expect the best. It's a lot of like body weight material, but it's the necessary. Like, yeah, I've gone through it with it, and it has been okay. It shouldn't be a worry about.
Thank you so much, Lucas. Oh, one more from Maritza. On these camps, are the toiletries, etc., given, or should you provide them yourself?
So yeah, you should you buy your own shampoo, you buy your own soap, own like they do give you toilet paper, and there's cleaning once a week. So once a week they will come clean all of the rooms and put you toilet paper. But things like shampoo, soap, toothpaste, you have to bring it by yourself. Also, if you want your own snacks or drinks, you're more than welcome to also buy them by yourself. But they do not supply things like that. There is laundry also once a week. So they give you laundry bags, you put your laundry there, and the next day laundry's coming.
And then one last one from Khardin. Do you have a fridge in your room for any midnight snacks or drinks? Anything like that?
No, we don't have a fridge in our room. You use the kitchen's fridge. They do supply a fridge for all of the students, so they can put their personal stuff there. It's funny, actually, me and my roommates, what we did do, we bought our own ice machine, so we just put drinks there. But yeah, we supplied it ourselves.
Nice. And then you mentioned that you bought your own ice machine. So just following that, Melissa also typed in a question if there are any town trips to restock and buy any personal items, and possibly when does that occur?
There's no like town trips. There's not like a shuttle that gets you to town, but a lot of my friends here have cars. So we go in their car. We just have to ask for permission if we can leave, and they would say yes. We leave to town, get supplies, and come back. And town is not that far away. It's like a 45 to 30-minute drive, depending on how fast you're driving, to Hotsprit. And we would supply ourselves there and go back, put our stuff in a room, and we'll be supplied for the week or two that come.
Awesome. I think that's all the questions. Thank you so much, Lucas. I know that
thank you.
You're currently in your graduation event right now. How's it going?
Yeah.
Are you having fun?
It's going good. It's going good. Everybody is having fun. So I'm about to go there and meet everybody else.
Amazing. I hope you have a wonderful evening, and yeah, all the best, and all the best with your placement as well. I can't wait to touch base again and hear all about it. Cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Have a good evening, everybody else. And as I said, if anybody else wants to ask me any question, you can definitely ask Maria to pass me my number, and I'll answer any question that anybody has.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Lucas. Bye.
Okay, see you. Bye-bye.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you so much. Nice. I don't think we have any open questions at the moment, so I'm just going to go back and share my screen. 1 second. Oops, sorry. Just going to open up my presentation. Cool. And then while I try and figure out my sharing of screens, I wanted to thank all of our presentations today, and also the presenters. I learned so much about Bushwise and also their personal experiences as well. Thank you so much to Kim and Darren behind the scenes for just being on it with all the questions in the Q&A box. It has been an amazing turnout for this open day, and I enjoyed reading all of your questions. Yes, so I just wanted to wrap today up by talking more about our special offer. So as a result of attending the open day today and signing up to this open day, you are entitled to a reduced deposit of 8,500 South African rands. I've also included the currency conversions as well below if you're not working in the South African currency. So as long as that is paid by midnight, I think the end of this month. And then there are also limited additional scholarships for our 2023 start dates. If you have any questions at all, Kim is more than happy to help. Her email address is below, kim@bushwise.co.za. But all of this information will be emailed to you after this event, along with the recording of this event on Monday morning, first thing. So if you want to refer back to it, back to any of the talks, then you can do so, and then email Kim any of the questions that you might have. And with that, I would like to wrap it up. Again, thank you so much to everyone that attended today. Yes, and Kim, would you like to say a few words to send everyone off?
Just thanks to everyone for attending. It's been super interactive. Everyone has stayed mostly throughout the whole open day. So thanks so much for joining and putting in the effort and taking this time on a Saturday.
Thank you so much. And yes, bye. I hope everyone has a lovely evening. Cool.
I changed from my career path from retail into being out in the bush all day.
That's when in 2006 we set up Bushwise, and the idea behind it was to not only just get them a minimum qualification, but to add in all the components that makes them really employable and really make them the best they can be in the industry.
I always wanted to work in the wild. I know I'm not capable of working in the office.
I chose to be a field guide because I've always loved wildlife and nature.
Decided that's what I wanted to do. We are a dedicated team of professionals that have a student at heart value. We are a team that really lives for the success of our students, and that really goes into every decision making that we're part of.
Oh, it's an amazing experience. It shows that Bushwise has the best quality trainers as well.
I got my degree in conservation ecology. Through my degree, I found a passion for the social side of conservation, and Bushwise seemed to meet the standard, so yeah.
Seeing their growth not only in their knowledge and their skills, but also how they grow as an individual. For me, that's most rewarding, is not only are we guiding and giving opportunities for young people to get into industry, but we are really supporting and mentoring young people to grow within themselves while they're with us, of course.
Needs to be in line with what FLGASA stands for, and Bushwise meets those requirements. They are in line with the gold standard of training guides, and so we're very excited to have them.